Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, why do you choose what's right or wrong? Why can some people hold back their anger while others lose control and regret it later? Modern science says the answer lies in a tiny area right behind your forehead called the prefrontal cortex. It's the control room of your mind, the part that helps you plan, judge, and make moral choices. But here's the breathtaking part. Over 1,400 years ago, long before neuroscience, laboratories, or even the word brain existed, the Quran mentioned this exact part of the head and described it as the place tied to lying and sin. Could that really be just a coincidence? Or could it be a glimpse of divine knowledge, far beyond human discovery? Let's uncover this together in today's episode, The Quran and the Human Brain, the Forelock and Decision-Making. Welcome to Ayat and Atoms, where faith meets science and revelation meets reason. If you love exploring how modern discoveries reflect ancient truth, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay till the end. The verse we're diving into is from Surah Al-Alaq, 96:15 through 16. Nay, if he does not desist, we shall surely drag him by the forelock, a lying, sinful forelock. At first, you might think, is that just a metaphor? Maybe a poetic way of describing arrogance or pride. But the Quran doesn't say heart. It doesn't say tongue. It specifically mentions the forelock, the very front part of the head. Why? Why point to that exact place? Modern neuroscience gives us the answer. The area just behind your forehead, the prefrontal cortex, controls decision-making, moral judgment, planning, and self-control. It's the part that decides whether you'll tell the truth or lie, act kindly or cruelly, forgive or take revenge. If this part is damaged, a person's behavior can change completely. They may lose the ability to control their anger, act without empathy, or lie without guilt. So when the Quran calls the forelock lying and sinful, it isn't symbolic. It's a scientifically precise description, one that perfectly matches what researchers discovered over 1,000 years later. Think about this. For centuries, humanity had no clue the brain even controlled thought. Ancient people believed emotions came from the heart or even from the blood. It wasn't until the 1800s that scientists realized the prefrontal cortex governs reasoning and decision-making. Yet more than 1,400 years earlier, the Quran had already identified the forelock, this very region, as linked to lying and sin. How could that knowledge exist in the 7th century? No tools, no microscopes, no medical journals, just revelation. This isn't human speculation. It's divine precision. Let's connect this with modern science. Dr. Wilder Penfield, a pioneering neurosurgeon, described the prefrontal cortex as the executive center of the brain, the part that governs judgment and self-control. Dr. Donald Stoos, another leading neuroscientist, called it the seat of moral reasoning and personality. Even brain scans using fMRI technology show that when a person lies, this exact part of the brain lights up. So when the Quran says a lying and sinful forelock, it's describing exactly what modern machines can now see. Coincidence? Or divine foresight that transcends time? The Arabic word used here is al-nasiya, meaning the very front part of the head. In classical Arabic, it was never used symbolically for thought or feeling. It meant the literal forehead or forelock. That means the Quran wasn't using poetic language. It was pointing directly, with astonishing anatomical accuracy, to the same region that modern neuroscience identifies today. But beyond the science, there's a deeper message here. This verse reminds us that morality, truth, self-control, they all begin inside the mind. The same region that allows you to create, imagine, and love can also lead you to deceit, pride, and sin if you misuse it. Allah warns, a lying and sinful forelock. It's a wake-up call that your choices, your honesty, your morality, all come from that very part of your brain the Quran mentioned centuries ago. Every time you pause before reacting in anger, every time you choose truth, even when it costs you something, you're using that very part, your forelock, your prefrontal cortex, to follow the path of righteousness. Isn't it incredible that the Quran unites spiritual truth and scientific reality so beautifully? It tells us that revelation and science aren't enemies. They're two sides of the same truth. One reveals the book of creation, the other the book of Revelation. So next time you look in the mirror and see your forehead, remember, beneath it lies the command center of your morals, your truth, and your choices. And over 1400 years ago, the Quran identified it with wisdom that even the brightest minds of today are still catching up to. If this discovery touched your heart and deepened your faith, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Ayat and Atoms. Here we explore how every verse of the Quran aligns with the marvels of science, revealing how divine truth continues to illuminate the modern world. Tell us in the comments, do you believe the Quran's reference to the forelock is coincidence or proof of divine knowledge far ahead of its time?